So, as you know, you are here to navigate Christmas without guilt or restriction. So, my whole aim is to get you stepping into the new year with balance and confidence. And I am sure and 100% positive that I can do that today. So, we're going to go over some common mindsets that are keeping you stuck, or common mindsets that's keeping a lot of people stuck in general. Food freedom, what it is. And if you've been following me for a long time, you might have got clued up on what food freedom is. But if you don't, and you're like, Sarah, what the hell is that? Have you just made that up? We're going to actually define food freedom today. Then I've got my balance framework. This is something that you can start practicing today, going through November, December to help you feel like you're having a more balanced, positive, more confident Christmas. Then we're going to look at smart swaps and decision making. I've actually swapped that around just because I feel like it runs a little bit more seamless if we understand more about decision making and then go into some smart swaps that we can do this Christmas and goal setting to round us off before we go. So, this is not for you if you're scrolling on TikTok doing something else. I want you to be present, answering into the Zoom chat, asking questions, getting your notebook, have your pen there. Try not to be multitasking. I want your full attention. And if I've got that full attention, amazing, I'm going to continue. If I don't, then potentially watch the recording and come back later on. So, a little bit about me. So, for years, I did Christmas, and my Christmases have changed throughout my fitness journey. To start off with, it would be like I can't have anything until the weekends, or I've had this, this, and this, so I really can't have it anymore. Then because I'm saying no, I'm overindulging to the point where I'm eating to the point of feeling sick and so full and sluggish. But I've also experienced Christmases where I need to look like I'm enjoying myself and look like that I am eating enough and look like that I'm not saying no too much or not drinking enough alcohol and da, 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 da. I've experienced different Christmases, and that's why I've put this presentation together to help us combat what mindset we are struggling with because it's not you, it's just what's going up in here that makes your decisions different. And that's what we're going to discuss today. So, not just at Christmas times, I help women day in, day out combat their restrictive eating, combat their emotional eating. And today is all about doing all of those things so you can feel free this Christmas. And cheesy, I know, but if you can achieve, you can achieve if you believe. So I've just put in my 7 kg plus transformation here. This was a few months ago, but no, not a few months ago, a year ago, but a 7 kg increase in weight. So I know how to go through from a restrictive place through to getting back that food freedom. But I've also done it the other way round, where I've lost the weight as well. Then you could feel like Michelle, Kate, Lauren at Christmas time, feeling amazing, feeling confident in what you're wearing. And if you start practicing what I'm going to teach you today, you're going to be feeling just like them at Christmas. So before we begin, for those that have attended the call live today, I'm going to offer you 3 months free coaching. So before we continue with the presentation, you can just message me offer and I can give you the details. And it is a limited time, it is a limited amount of spaces, but it's only for those that have attended this call live. So if you're on Instagram, hop over to the Zoom link if I've sent it to you. So we're going to continue on. Common holiday mindsets that are holding you back. I'm going to list or say a few sentences, and if you have said one of these, I want you in the group Zoom group chat to put me. So, if you have ever said, I'll be good all week so I can let loose at the weekend, I can't have that as I don't want to ruin my progress. I'll start again in January, or I'll start again on Monday, or I'll start again next week. Anything along those lines. I can't control myself around Christmas food. Or if you've ever said, if I eat one mince pie, I'll eat another one. Or if I have one biscuit, I'll have another one. If I've had one Heroes chocolate, I'll have another one. And I've been having fun these last few weeks doing those reels, if you've seen them on Instagram with the heroes as well. Me. That's brilliant. And not in a sense of, okay, we've got some work to do, but you're all still with me and you're all listening, which is great. So this is what we're going to help you fix. And you're not alone. As you can see, so many of us have said these things. You're not the only one struggling. And the good thing is this is just a habit. We've learned this mindset. We've talked ourselves into this mindset so it can all be unlearned. Just like day in, day out, we have so many habits that we do. And I want you now to think about some habits that you already do without thinking. And I've listed some here. Brushing your teeth in the morning. That's a habit. No one tells you to do that. It's just a habit that you have, a part of your morning routine, a part of your evening routine. Taking your supplements. Maybe that's not something that's part of your routine now, but you've managed to get it into your routine now if you take your supplements day in, day out. That's a habit. Maybe you read before bed and you don't even think about grabbing your book before you go to sleep. You get in, you grab your book, you start reading, and it's not something that you have to tell yourself. But maybe at the beginning, you had to maybe set an alarm on your phone, go to bed so I can read my book. Or um, you got into bed, all you want to do is watch that second episode of the series that you're watching. No, Sarah, come on, read the book because you want this part of your routine. Is there any other habits that any of you can think of that you currently do that you don't even think twice about? And pop it into the Zoom group chat now. It's probably hard to think about them. Take the dog for a walk. Absolutely. You're all probably rattling your brains like, what do I do? Going to the gym. Again, for someone, that might not have been part of your routine, but somehow you're now managing to go two, three, four times a week without even thinking about it. Food shopping, absolutely. Putting on your clothes out for work the night before, that's definitely one that I'm going to bring up later on. Going swimming. So these are all things that you have built into your routine. So this is treat that the same as your mindset. So when we're practicing wanting to change our mindset, we need to treat it just like putting a reminder on your phone to take your supplements. So you're constantly reminding yourself of the behaviors that you are doing right now to get to the other side. So, the common link between all of these things, whether you are on a weight gain journey, a weight loss journey, maybe you're in a space in time where you're looking to maintain but build strength, build confidence. Maybe it's not about the weight or the size for you, and it's more about not feeling guilty around food or being able to enjoy yourself without guilt. All of these mindsets have the same link. It's restrictive, whether you're on a weight loss, weight gain, or somewhere in the middle, which makes you overeat. And then because you felt like you've overeaten or enjoyed yourself that little bit too much, guilt comes in. So then you go, I must be good tomorrow, or I must be good on Monday. That comes into the restrict part, and we repeat. And that's what we're going to try and fix. So, what is food freedom? And this is something I talk about so much on Instagram, and it's a journey that never ends, but it's a journey that I am, what's the word? I am very I'm pushing it to in front of so many people because a diet, there is no such thing as a diet. A diet, the true definition of that word is what you eat day in, day out. So if you decide to follow a vegetarian diet, a vegan diet, you eat all meats or something like that, that is a diet because that's what you eat day in, day out. But going on a diet, there is no such thing. So, food freedom isn't about eating everything and anything all of the time. It's about being able to eat what you love without guilt and trust yourself around the food. Trust yourself to get back to balance. So, I listed a few things that I think food freedom has taught me, but this is a very special picture here of me and my sister enjoying ourselves in Berlin at the Christmas markets last year and knowing that we could have several mulled wines, hot chocolates, hot dogs, eating at the food stands for 3 days, or however long we did them for. But knowing that as soon as we got back, we didn't need to feel guilty about enjoying ourselves because we just got back to routine. We just got back to the gym, back to work, and just ate normally. There was no restrictive patterns. So, food freedom to me is the trust in myself that I can say no when I'm full or I can stop when I'm full. It's that trust to know that I can go back to my normal routine, which allows me to have flexibility and balance. It's allowed me to be mindful about maybe what I'm having across the week. Maybe if especially as we go into Christmas, we've got multiple social occasions. To be honest, I don't have that many, but you might have loads, and you might have three, four things in one week because you've got this friend, this work do, this event, da da da. And you might be mindful of what you're going to choose over the course of that week, but you can still experience food freedom within that. And that's what I'm going to help you find today. So, the difference between a restrictive mindset and a food freedom mindset is restrictive, I can't have that. Food freedom, I can have it if I want it, but I will choose what feels good in the moment. So, for someone who says, I can't have that biscuit or I can't have that hot chocolate, you're going to want it even more. And if you don't have it that day, you're probably going to have it another day. Whereas the food freedom mindset is, oh, yeah, I can have it if I want it. If there is that biscuit there, I can have it, but I could also have it tomorrow. I'm going to choose what feels good for me. I've already ruined my day, might as well keep going. Food freedom is one meal doesn't define my progress. I can always come back to balance. And what I mean by that is the restrictive mindset. Someone bought in cake at work. Oh, you know what? I can't bother to cook, so you know what? We're going to get a takeaway. Whereas the food freedom mindset is going to enjoy that piece of cake, be grateful that someone bought in that cake at work, but know that they're going to have a really nutritious dinner. And even if they are hungry when they get in from work, they're going to spend that 30 minutes cooking a nutritious dinner. I have to earn my food rather than seeing that food fuels your body. Similar to, I'll work this off tomorrow. I exercise because I get to. It's not a punishment. Exercise is never to do something because you've eaten too much or you've drunk too much alcohol or you've overindulged. You exercise because it makes you feel good. You get to and you want to. And if it's not part of your routine, think about why. Why isn't walking part of your routine? Why isn't a little home workout, something off YouTube? Why isn't some form of movement part of your workout? And maybe you should think about that and maybe you should bring it into your routine as well over Christmas. I feel guilty for enjoying myself. I deserve to enjoy food and moments without guilt. Why are you here today? Why are you here trying to improve your health and your fitness? Why are you here trying to improve your mindset, your diet? We're all here to better ourselves. Life is for living. So why should we feel guilty in those moments where we are enjoying food with friends, drink with friends? Because we are good or we try to be our best selves day in, day out, so we can go and enjoy ourselves. So we shouldn't be feel guilty about that. If I'm not tracking, I'm failing. Tracking is just a tool. It doesn't define your success. If you don't track for Christmas Day, if you don't track for a whole week of Christmas, if you don't track for the whole month of Christmas, You're not going to put yourself back 5 steps because you're going to be practicing what we practiced today. I'll just eat before and not touch anything when I'm there. I'll enjoy what looks good and stop when I've had enough. That restrictive mindset is giving you an unrealistic goal, and we're going to look at that in a minute. It's giving you an unrealistic goal, and that restrictive mindset, probably you'll end up just eating the buffet or whatever's there or having a couple of glasses of wine because you've told yourself no. Whereas the person that says, "Oh, I enjoy what looks good and stop when I've had enough," maybe they will have a glass of wine and go, "Oh yeah, those little bits seem good," or I'll get a little plate. I'll get a little plateful, and that'll be enough for me. Or if I have one biscuit, I'll eat the whole pack. I can have one biscuit and move on. And it's knowing that that packet of biscuits is not going to go anywhere. So you don't need to finish it all at once. You get to enjoy it tomorrow, the next day, the next day. And a lot of the time, actually put me in the group Zoom chat if at the end of Christmas, or maybe you've done it last week at the end of Halloween, and you've gone, I've just got to finish it all today, so it's out the house. And if you didn't do it this year, maybe you did it last year, maybe you've done it at some point in your life, but put me in the Zoom chat if you've ever done that. I've just got to finish that cake, so it's gone. I've just got to finish those Halloween sweets, so they're gone, they're out. I don't want to think about them. Whereas I'm going to give you the tools to go, you know what? I don't need to finish this today because I can have it within moderation and know that it's there for tomorrow, the next day, or whenever I fancy it. So, this brings me into the balance framework, and you might want to write this down because you might want to start practicing this from tomorrow through November to give you the best possible chance of feeling like you are having a really great Christmas. So, number one, prioritize protein and your veggies most of the time, your vegetables. And you're probably thinking, yeah, but Sarah, I know this, but maybe you're not having enough of it. So, if you are tracking your food, prioritize 30 grams of protein in every meal, especially at breakfast time. And the reason for that is going to help you feel fuller for longer and it's going to bring in less cravings, especially if you do it in the mornings. And if you're not eating breakfast, that's step one. But people often forget this. Social media is starting to bring in the whole fiber game, and it has done over the last year, but not enough. People still think this is the most important thing, but this is what's going to make you feel really, really good. So the 20 grams of fiber, get your veggies in, your fruit in, and focus on that color and your whole grains, your oats, your wholemeal rice, your wholemeal pasta, your wholemeal bread. Maybe you grab some sourdough. If you be able to manage this, you're going to be feeling really, really good. And I put most of the time because some days you're not going to hit it. Some days you're not going to track because you're going out for dinner in the evening. But if you focus on this 4, 5, 6 times a week, gosh, you're going to have a good Christmas. Number two, don't skip meals to save calories. If you skip meals because you're going out for dinner or you're going out for lunch and you're like, I'm just not going to eat breakfast, I'm just not going to eat today, so I have more calories for later on, you're most likely going to go all in at that meal time. You're going to choose something crazy off the menu. You're going to drink way more. You're going to probably have starter and desserts and probably keep eating past the point of feeling full because you're just that hungry. Whereas if you have a smaller breakfast, a smaller lunch, knowing that you're going out for dinner, knowing that you've still got plenty of calories for dinner and a glass of wine. Maybe you will stop at just that glass. Maybe you will share the dessert rather than having your own dessert. Maybe you might choose something slightly different off the menu because your cravings aren't talking, your body is actually talking about what you actually want and need. So I've given you a little example. So say if you have 1,800 calories as your target, you could do 300 calories for breakfast, 300 calories for lunch, and then you've got plenty of calories for dinner out and some wine. Number three, Pick your non-negotiables and stick to them. My clients know that we always set non-negotiables. But a biggest point is that, especially for my clients on this call as well, non-negotiables can change. And for some of you, we will be changing them. Those that aren't my clients, we need to choose some non-negotiables. So don't think of it as what do I want to achieve? See it as what can I achieve at my busiest time? So what you do right now or last week or the week before, you might be in a completely different routine to December. You might have this birthday, this Christmas due. Maybe you've got children, you're taking them here, taking them there. It's not realistic. So maybe if you normally train 5 times a week, maybe you're going to aim for 3 times. Maybe if you only train 3 times a week, you're going to aim for 1 or 2, and you should be happy with that. Anything else is a bonus. 1 night of alcohol per week, maybe we're looking more into December. Maybe you have got that social calendar of I'm going out 4 times this week. Maybe you look at it and go, could I maybe not drink at one of those? Maybe could I change a different option? Maybe instead of wine, could I go for spirits? And we're going to look at different swaps and decision making in a minute. 30 minutes of walking daily, drinking 2 liters of water. I want you to pick 3 non-negotiables that you can stick to this Christmas. And whilst I share the fourth one, I want you now to start writing your 3 non-negotiables and think about what they might be in December. Not now, when it's at your busiest. What are you going to try and stick to? And then number 4 is practice what you can do today to make tomorrow easier. And I do this day in, day out. I look at my to-do list with work. Okay, what can I do today? Or if I'm in the evening and I've got some time to catch up on my to-do list, what could I do now that's going to make tomorrow easier? What could I do now so I don't have to do it tomorrow? I will scan that. Maybe I will go, you know what? I am going to prep my breakfast so that I can get out the house 10 minutes quicker. Maybe I'll decide on what clothes I'm going to wear the next day. Maybe I'm going to pack my work bag so that I can take the longer route to work. These are the 4 things that I want you to practice. Write that down. And I'm going to put in my 3 non-negotiables into the group chat whilst you guys are writing them in as well. I'm going to stick to 3 gym workouts. I'm thinking about when I'm at my busiest. Then I'm going to try and meal prep a healthy alternative snack for each week. And you can copy me, guys. That's absolutely fine. And you know what? I'm going to try and go for a second walk every day. And that's pushing it, but I think that's definitely doable. Even if it's 5, 10 minutes, I'm not putting a length on it. I just want to get out of the house for a second walk. Jackie, keeping up water intake, walking 30 minutes a day. Has anybody else got any non-negotiables that they want to share? Heather, 3 liters of water a day because it's something I control that doesn't affect anyone else. Amazing. Absolutely, Heather. What can you do that's not going to affect anybody else? So maybe you can't really set your gym stuff because when it is December, maybe you getting to the gym is going to affect other people's plans on what you've got to do. So, non-negotiables is something that you are going to stick to no matter what your week looks like. You will be really happy if you stuck to your non-negotiables. So you want to think the bare minimum that you can get done in that week that you're going to be happy with so that anything else is a bonus. So 8K steps a day at my busiest. So if you can manage that at your busiest, there's no point setting 10K as your non-negotiable because you're just not going to hit it. Whereas for Rebecca, 8K steps at her busiest is doable. So that's a good way to put it. I hope that makes sense. So it's setting a good routine. Absolutely. It's setting a routine that you know you can stick to when life gets a little bit chaotic, when life goes a little bit like, whoa, what's going on here? Keep water intake up, move body in the same way at least once a day. Two workouts a week, prep breakfast is a minimum, good. So when you're at your busiest, you might not have time to meal prep breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but you could just meal prep breakfast. No, that's great. Thank you for asking. So if anybody else has got any questions, now will be a good time to say. But if not, put all good in the group chat and we will move on. Perfect. And I will come back to the Zoom chat in just a minute to check if there's any other questions as well. So I want you to meet Louisa, and I don't think, Louisa, if you're on this call, please unmute. If you're not, don't worry. I'll say hello to you later on. But Louisa joined SGC in December, and she was an action taker. She didn't wait till January. She threw herself into the deep end and she learned very quickly how to deal with balance. She learned how this framework. She learned about how to change her mindset around her food, around her behaviors to allow her to see change, to get to her goal throughout December. And if she didn't start then, she would have just wasted 3, 4, maybe even 5 weeks before actually getting going. And she is a full-time working mom of two. She had renovations over Christmas. She did have a kitchen at Christmas Day. Kitchen happened later within the 16 weeks, but she managed to lose 9 kg within the 16 weeks, but she decided to start now. Just like you guys are on this call, you're going to start practicing these tools tomorrow or today. What can you do today to make tomorrow easier? Could you make your breakfast for the morning? Could you lay out your clothes in the morning? Start practicing that today because if you start now, your January you is gonna be so, so grateful. And we will do some goal setting calls. So again, I'm gonna remind you, 3 months free coaching is on offer. Just message me that word on Instagram and I will send you more details over later on. So the reason I've swapped the decision making to now rather than going through the healthy swaps because I just think it makes sense. So, when to say no, when to say yes is such a common question. And I want you to think that you are saying yes to everything. You're not saying no because you're either saying yes to your goals or you're saying yes to your connection or your memories. And that's what food freedom is about, is knowing, okay, when can I have that control? When can I control knowing how much, knowing that I'm going to get enough vegetables in, enough protein in? But when can I also control the fun that I'm having, not worrying about what's on my plate and worrying about what's around me? So I want you to think that you are saying yes to everything. It's just different things. And you need to think about what aligns with, whether it aligns with your goals or whether it makes you happy without guilt or the fear of missing out. So put yes or no into the group chat if you've read The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins. Because if you have, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't, maybe you asked for it for Christmas. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to talk you through this scenario that is in this book. So Mel Robbins had a scenario. Oh, back to wrong place. Had this scenario of she had her best friend's birthday and her mum wanted her home because her nan was coming over and she wanted to see her nan. And she was like, how am I going to do both? Because her nan is going to be gutted if she doesn't go. But then her best friend is also going to be gutted and annoyed that she hasn't come to her birthday. How can you miss my birthday? You're my best friend. So she was like, how am I going to do both? And how am I going to please both people? Well, she was like, you know what? I'm going to do both. My friend is going to be annoyed at me that I'm going to leave early, but it means that I've seen her for her birthday and I'm going to be happy with that. My mum is going to be annoyed at me that I'm arriving late and my nan's been there all day, but I get to see my nan. I just got a deal with being my mum being annoyed. But at the end of that day, she was happy with her decisions. She was able to say yes to both things because if she said no, then one really would have been unhappy. But she managed to do both. But you know what? Being still doing both and trying to please both people, it still left her mum annoyed that she arrived late, and it still left her friend annoyed that she left early. But the most important thing is that she was happy with her decisions because you know what? Her mum's going to get over it. Let them be annoyed for the day. She's going to get over it. The friend, you know what? Let her be annoyed. But you know what? When she wakes up, she isn't just going to go, I can't believe you left early. She's still going to know she had a really good time and she's grateful that she turned up. So, the reason I'm telling you this story is because it's going to help with your decision making. And I want you to do what's best for you. Don't feel guilty for leaving a work event early. Don't feel guilty about going, you know what? I don't need to have another drink. Or I really want to go to the gym in the morning. So I'm going to stop drinking now so I can get a better night's sleep and still make my gym class. Because the only person that will be annoyed or frustrated is you if you decide, you know what, I'm going to stay because I'm too embarrassed to leave early. Or they've bought another round of drinks and I'm too scared to say no. And I'm not saying that any of you guys are getting peer pressured, but these are examples and I have lived these as well. And if you decide not to say no, in those circumstances and then have the worst night's sleep, sleep through your alarm, miss your gym class, then wake up and you know what, you haven't made your breakfast and you're really not that hungry, so you don't eat, and then you decide to have, let's say, this is the extreme example, McDonald's for lunch just to make you feel better, but then really only makes you feel good in the moment, and then you're annoyed that everything has just been ruined, all because you was trying to please other people. So that comes to terms with the let them theory. Let them think about whatever they want to think of you. Let them go, oh, you know what? It's a shame that you're leaving, but it was nice to see you. Let them do that because you know what? That person in the future, your future you, is going to be so pleased. And that's what I want you to think about. Sorry, that was a really long-winded story, but I hope that kind of makes sense. So, you're kind of saying no when it doesn't serve you or doesn't, or you're just eating, drinking, or staying longer to please others. And say yes when it brings joy, connection, memories, nostalgia. That's part of a balanced lifestyle. I've already said it in this talk that life is for living. Life isn't about feeling guilty about a certain decision. It's about making decisions that you know you're going to be happy with, that you know that you can stick to, and that's what's going to bring you joy. So, saying yes to a glass of wine with friends because you're enjoying the moment is just as healthy as saying no when you know you've had enough. And that can be in two scenarios. So maybe saying yes to another round, go on, girls, you're out with the best friends, I'm going to enjoy the moment. But then saying no when you're at your work do or you're not really having a nice time or whatever, or you know what, you've just had enough. That is exactly the same thing. Whether you've had a whole bottle of wine with your friends or just a couple of glasses with somebody else, that's still the same thing. Saying no doesn't make you restrictive, and saying yes doesn't mean that you've lost control. Remember that. It means that you're just choosing with confidence that leads to a happier version of you in the future. I hope that makes sense. Before I move on, is there any questions on that? Just put all good in the chat if you don't have questions. But I hope that that made sense in terms of good. Good. I'm pleased. So let's talk about some smart swaps then. And these swaps are not something where you're going to miss out on something. It's understanding how a certain decision is going to make you feel. Always again, how are you feeling with this decision? So I'm going to make you aware of some Christmas drinks or coffees or whatever, and I'm going to make you aware of alcohol as well. But some other decisions that you can make is during December or even now, if your festivities have already begun, is keep breakfasts and lunches and dinners, if it's a normal day, as nutritious as possible because you know you're going to enjoy yourself. And that's not me going, you need to be strict so you can go all in when you're out. It's going, I'm going to make the best nutritious or nutritious choices possible so that I can just choose whatever I want because I'm not going to feel guilty about eating what I want because I know that I've really made the choices that are going to make me a happier version of myself throughout the week. And maybe in December, you might just focus on your breakfast and lunches. But for now, try and do breakfast, lunches, and dinners. If you have children, then maybe you don't want them to be, we've just had Halloween, we're going into Christmas. Maybe you don't want to see them eat chocolate all the time, sweets all the time. And because they're eating chocolate and sweets all the time, it's making you eat chocolate and sweets all the time. Well, let's create some healthier swaps. So what about the snowmen strawberries that people make, or the reindeers with the pretzels and the strawberry in the middle, something like that. The oat muffins, the healthier pancakes made with banana and oats, the date Christmas tree that's going viral at the moment. So rolling out some dates covered in dark chocolate. Make it fun, make it festive. And these can be swaps. You don't even need to have kids to do these swaps. I know I'm definitely going to do the Christmas tree idea. But we can make different choices and still make it festive. But if you are, I just wanted to make you aware of these things and help with your decision making. So here is a standard flat white. Here is a standard Terry's hot chocolate from Costa, so the Christmas special. And in previous years, you might not have even thought twice because you want to think or you want to get the most out of the Christmas specials. I don't want them to go. I want to have as many as I can throughout December because they're only there for a limited time. But guess what? They come back next year. They come back another time. And do you need to have a Christmas special each time you go to out for a coffee? Maybe you make it a thing. Maybe you go with your best friend, oh my God, let's go and get the Christmas special, whatever is on, whatever the coffee shop is, and go for a really nice walk, drink our Christmas special hot chocolates, or let's catch up over it. And you might make it an occasion, a special thing, not just because you're driving through or because you've got 20 minutes until your train. You know what? I'm just going to grab the Christmas special because it's on. Really think about those decisions because these are a lot of sugar. 35 grams of sugar. Easily you can drink. But I'm not saying that you can't drink this at all. Because I want you to enjoy these. I know I'm 100% getting one over the course of Christmas. But I know it's definitely not something I want in my diet week in, week out. But there might be a point in December where I might have two in a row because I'm with this friend and we've planned to have those things. But I know that most of the time I'm going to make this choice instead. So it's about the decision making again. Then maybe the alcohol, maybe you do consume a lot of alcohol over Christmas. And I don't want to be boring. I don't want to tell you you must not drink alcohol because we all love a drink on social occasions. But maybe you save them to just social occasions, whether you're with friends or with family, maybe you save it for that rather than just with your partner at home. And we can make different choices. So maybe I gave that example of having four events in one week. So instead of just drinking your usual glass of wine at each of those, or a couple of glasses of wine at each of those events, maybe you go, you know what, at this event, I'm going to stick to spirits and tonic. And at this event, you know what, I'm not going to drink. And at this event, I'm going to drink whatever I want because it's my best friends or it's my closest, like people, whatever. And at this event, I'm just going to go for a few, or maybe I'm going to drive and just have one. So it's those decision making, and there is a healthier swap that can be made. So you can stick to your spirits and your tonics over your wine, your prosecco, your beer. Um, there is some healthy alternatives there. So, how do you want to feel this Christmas? So, if you're with your notebooks and pens, I want you to write it down, and I want you to imagine that it's Christmas Day now. You're enjoying your favorite food, the drinks are flowing, music's on, you're in the festive spirit. How does that version of you feel? Does that version of you feel out of control? Like that you are eating till you're overfull, till you feel sick and sluggish? Can you not say no to your to the alcohol that's coming your way? Everybody's Christmases are different, by the way, though. But I want you to think about that version. For me, I want to feel calm on Christmas Day, that I don't have to worry or stress about the calories that I'm consuming. I want to feel confident in my choices, knowing that my choices today are not going to look the same next week. So let's just enjoy and be present. And I want to be mindful. I want to know that I don't have to eat until I really do feel physically sick, or mindful that when I know that I've had enough to drink, I can just say no. So they're my feelings. I'm not going to get you to share your feelings. That's something that you can decide on yourself. But I would definitely do this task on how you want to feel, because if you have that intention, you're going to work towards it. But it's the work now that's going to get you to that place. And as I say, that version of you can be achieved. We've gone through those tools, that balance framework, those practicing of the mindset shifts, practicing how you talk to yourself. These are the tools and the support that you need to keep showing up for you. A habit isn't just formed. You didn't just randomly start taking your supplements. You maybe at the beginning of your journey, you started taking your supplements, forgot. Started taking your supplements, forgot. But you had to keep going. It takes hard work to change a habit. It takes reminders. Maybe you need to set alarms, reminders on your phone. Maybe you have to put post-it notes on the fridge, on the cupboards, around your house so that you remember. Sometimes a habit comes some sacrifice, not in a place of restriction and not in a place of that you're feeling like you are missing out. But sometimes it might feel like a sacrifice if you are going through a lifestyle change, which leads into discipline. And it sometimes it does lead into failure. I'm not saying that it takes practice to really set a goal that you can stick to. And sometimes you might set an unrealistic goal without you noticing, and that comes failure. So maybe you set that goal of I'm I'm gonna eat before because I know that the food there, I just don't want to eat the food and I'm not gonna drink. But then that version of you goes, you know what, they've got the best looking cheesecake, so you want a bit of cheesecake, and then you're like, oh, I've had the cheesecake now, so I might as well have a glass of wine. Can you see how that can then cause guilt because you set yourself an unrealistic goal, which causes failure? So it takes practice. But if we start practicing now, we can fail at the beginning and we can keep pushing through and feel confident this Christmas. So, this is something that I do want you to share though, because you will give each other ideas. So, you might be thinking about what you want to achieve in 2026. It might be weight loss, it might be getting fitter, it might be getting stronger, leaner, healthier, or you might just be wanting to focus on you, becoming that best version of yourself, knowing that you can go for walks. Maybe it's setting yourself goals of listening to podcasts, what you're reading, focusing on your movement and your nutrition. So instead of waiting, we're going to start now. So, what is that one feeling or goal you want to embody in the new year? So, it could be feeling strong, it could be feeling confident, or it could be to lose a certain amount of weight. What is your goal? I'm going to put my goal in. don't know why I'm writing in capital letter. But my goal is to be stronger and faster. Is there any other particular goals? And I'll read some out in a minute. But we don't need to wait to 2026 to achieve that. Why are we waiting to a date, a week, a month? We can start achieving this now. So, number two is what's one habit you can focus on in December that's going to support that? So, I might say, well, my non negotiables is going to the gym 3 times a week. So, for those 3 times, I'm going to really focus on my strength training so that I can be in a stronger position in January and get my goal of being stronger. And maybe I might select a few movements in that. I might even go even more specific. But I just want to go, what's one feeling, a goal you want to embody, and one habit you want to focus on in December to support that? Reach your weight goal whilst still building strength. I want to make healthier choices, so I'm going to focus on making my own sweet treats. Amazing. So for Katie, her one feeling or goal next year is to make healthier choices. So from this week, from tomorrow, maybe she does what I'm going to do and do one sweet alternative each week. I'm going to bake something each week so I've got a sweet treat that is on the healthier side. Rebecca, continue the habits that you've implemented in 2025, even after Christmas. Amazing. I wish I could share all of them out, but I'm going to continue moving on. Wrong button again. But can you see how we can start doing something about it now, which is only going to put us a better step forward on Christmas, into the new year, and into January? So, the key takeaway for me today is that you can enjoy Christmas and feel amazing in your body if you start practicing what we've gone through today. It's all about decision making, knowing that you can enjoy time with your friends, enjoy moments by yourself, but it's about the decision making that's going to lead to a better version of you or a happier version of you. Balance isn't something that you need to start in January. It's something that we can start practicing now. So I'm going to post this on Instagram and I'm also going to share it to YouTube so that I can send all of you guys the link and a copy of it. But when I repost it to Instagram, I would love if you can leave a key takeaway from here on that link. I'll post it to my stories. Leave your key takeaway in the comments. Maybe share it on your stories if you feel other people could learn from this talk, this discussion. And I don't want you to procrastinate. I want you to take action, whether it's what we've learned today or it's continuing to go from your non-negotiables. But if you are ready to actually live with food freedom and balance, achieve confidence, get stronger, get fitter, and finally feel like you don't have to feel guilty about your food or be stuck in that restrictive mindset, then that is what I help people do day in, day out. So don't forget to say thank you for attending my call today. I'm offering you all 3 months free coaching. So if you do want to see more or hear more details about that, you can just message me the word offer on Instagram and I can send that across to you. Thank you once again for attending tonight. But I hope you've all enjoyed today and you're going to take something away with you. And I will speak to you all soon and potentially see you all on the next one. Have a lovely evening.